morning. Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. Happy Friday. It's November 1st, 2024. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn from Brass Ring Media and from Sports Illustrated. Glad to be here today on the first day of November. I don't know about you guys and where you are, but boy, it very much felt like fall out there outside today in Chicago where I am. So happy fall. Hopefully everybody had a nice and safe Halloween yesterday. Saw a few wrestling costumes out and about trick-or-treating with my kids. So that was interesting. I had a Steve Austin vest from a few years ago that I sported yesterday. So I did my part. I'll tell you what, there's way too much candy in my house right now. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know, we got less trick-or-treaters than we expected, and goodness, there's a lot of candy here, and that doesn't bode well for the old gut. But needless to say, it'll taste good. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. This is 1TS Daily. We're live with this show on the One True Sport YouTube channel every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, talking to you about wrestling and giving you a quick, 25, 30-minute fix of what has been going on and what will be going on, and any kind of news nuggets and happenings that have come up, between now and yesterday when we did the show. So that's our thing. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for being here. If you're watching on Twitter, same thing. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. Hit like if you can. It really helps us out big time. If you could just hit like, and helps us out with the algorithm. You guys get it. So I thank you in advance for that. We have our live chat open, and we've got people filing in there right now. Good to see that. Always a blast when you guys get that chat going and debate respectfully, of course, about the topics at hand. But yeah, use it if you want to drive the conversation with a question. Please feel free to drop it in the chat and we will get to it. If you want to contribute to the conversation with a comment, do that too. Drop that in there and we'll do our best to get to it. If you want to make sure that we absolutely get to your questions and to your comments, use the super chat function, and that way it flags it for me. I definitely see it, and we'll make sure to get to those, no questions asked. And if you can do that with any type of contribution, that certainly helps us out, helps me out, and I thank you in advance for anything that you're willing to throw into the 1TS Daily tip jar, if you will. So thank you in advance for that. Today, as I've been promoting and hyping all week, we're going to be previewing WWE Crown Jewel, which is tomorrow afternoon on Peacock from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So we got another Saudi Arabia show. I feel it necessary to just comment on the fact that, yes, these are in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is not it's not a great place to do business from a moral, ethical standpoint. From a business standpoint, it certainly is. There's a lot of money to be had there, but that country doesn't have the same morals and values as we do, and as far as basic human rights in a lot of ways. And so I do think it's important to put that out there as far as WWE going there and doing business with that regime. Yes, they get a lot of money. Yes, the card is good, but it's worth pointing out that there is this very, very important other side of the coin when it comes to WWE Saudi Arabia shows, and I want to make sure to call that out right here at the beginning before we break it down. This is already, I believe, the 16th show, I want to say, in Saudi Arabia. Can you believe that? That's outrageous. Time flies. I mean, they started this partnership, which they get, $1 billion for, in 2018, and it's already 2024, or 16 shows. I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, to me, that's wild. Time flies. as far as this show, like as an overarching, kind of bird's eye view of the show, I think they've built a pretty nice card here, honestly. There are some matches that I think are like that don't fit. There's some matches that I think are poorly built, but generally speaking, I think if you turn the show on Saturday afternoon, like, you'll get some good wrestling and probably some noteworthy and newsworthy items. These shows, if you remember, they didn't exist in like the normal WWE canon. Like, you'd have time periods early on in the partnership where WWE would be promoting like a Crown Jewel show on television, and it was more like a house show at that time, and also like another pay per view at the same time that was kind of within the regular narrative of WWE. Now, and I thought that was very complicated and ineffective, like across for everybody. Like, if you're Saudi Arabia, why do you want a house show? If you're WWE as a company, like, why do you want to book these two different things at the same time? If you're a fan, you're confused because you're like, well, wait a minute. Is this match for this show or is this match for that show? It just was confusing. Now they treat these Saudi Arabia events as regular international PLEs, and things happen on the show that are of consequence. Before, like, there were many years where you'd be like, okay, this is a glorified house show, like in the truest sense. I mean, there just was no intrigue as to who would win matches, none of that. We don't have that anymore. Like, this event could be held in any other place, and it makes sense for like the WWE calendar and what they do and the stories they tell and the narrative structure and all that. So, that's good and bad. I mean, it's good because WWE only is promoting one thing, and I think that's important. But it's bad because you get some big matches that are on this Crown Jewel show because it's a paid for show. It's bought and paid for. It's a spot show, and the WWE feels like clearly that they need to like heavy up the show in a lot of ways. So you get matches like Cody against Gunther on here, where ordinarily maybe you wouldn't see that for the first time until like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or like a Royal Rumble or some kind of big traditional event. Instead, it's kind of tucked away here on this Crown Jewel card. And I don't know how many people, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people out there who are just fundamentally against watching Crown Jewel, and that's, completely understandable. We'll cover it here, for you. We'll cover it at Brass Ring Media for you, so you can, keep up to speed if you don't want to watch it. But there's also a lot of people that do, and but at the same time, I don't know that anybody is going back and like watching old Crown Jewels, right? Because I don't know, it just feels a little bit dirty to do that. And so WWE is working hard to make this show fit in with what the overall company is doing. It comes at a price. So we're going to preview this show start to finish right here. There's 7 matches on the card. Again, big matches and some kind of weird like house show style matches. Get your picks in, get your predictions in. We'll run through every single match here, and then we'll ride off into the sunset and head in for a wonderful weekend. Anthony's in the chat right now and has got a question. Anthony says, Zach, if Triple H came to you and asked you to book a tweener Drew McIntyre with a debuting Gallup, would I do it? Anthony, here's my answer. I'm not a big tweener person. And who's Gallup? Like that's I guess my first question. Is that a typo or is that a wrestler that I'm just not familiar with? Let me know. Oh, Gallus. Okay, not Gal. Okay, Anthony's I'm talking about the group with Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers. Yes. Okay, so Gallus, not Gallup. Gallus. Okay. So let me reread the question here. Zach, if Triple H came to you and asked you to book a tweener Drew McIntyre with a debuting Gallus, would you do it? I think that's actually not a bad fit. The Gallus faction with Drew McIntyre as the lead. Um, but I wouldn't book it as tweeners. As I just was about to say, fundamentally, like I'm not a tweener person in wrestling. I think wrestling works. I think wrestling works better when you've got good guys and bad guys. And I know that there's shades of gray at different times. I know that there are times where you do babyface versus babyface or heel versus heel. I know that you can pick those out, but I think they should be few and far between. So I think it's a really good fit. And I think because Gallus are good heels. I mean, they've got like a stigma about them that, is credible. It's dangerous. I think it fits the mold of what Drew McIntyre is at this point too, as a heel. And I think they could add a lot of depth if they wanted to add like a Drew McIntyre faction. How would I do it? I think I would just have, Drew for a couple weeks, like when he gets back, like tease that he's, got backup, that he's lost the Hell in a Cell match. He's back to win the title and he's got people watching his back. He's not gonna mess around with what happened with CM Punk anymore. Like he's gonna move forward and he's got, help to do that. And then eventually, you just debut Gallus behind him. I mean, I really think it's that simple because I think like that faction will get over just by like being behind him. I think so I don't think you have to do much other than that. And obviously you got to give him some wins and you got to give him like a really good, solid beatdown segment. But yeah, I think that's how it do it. So yeah, so back into that Scottish psychopath character for sure. Just get that heat. But I think they provide a pretty nice backdrop for him. And I don't know like what their ceiling is in WWE really outside of that, right? They can be in the tag team division. I just like Joe Coffey is kind of like the lead singles guy in that faction. And it's like, yeah, like I just don't see him like really like leaving that group and finding success. I don't think he has the character. I don't think he has the mic skills. They're good in the ring. They're really good in the ring. And so, yeah, I think they'd be good backup for him. And then you never know, like, maybe Joe Coffey finds it or finds another gear or finds another voice or finds a different tone or tweak or, Triple H sees something in him that Shawn Michaels couldn't get out of him. And then you do get somebody. I mean, it's not impossible. But the bottom line is Drew is a good act to attach yourself to. So if Gallus has that opportunity, man, yeah, they're taking it. They're taking it every time. Thank you, Anthony. Great question. I love in-depth kind of like B-side questions like that. It's awesome because you don't think about how often do we talk about Gallus on this show? Not very often. So awesome find there, Anthony. Thanks so much for listening and thanks so much for the question. Okay, Crown Jewel. Let's see. Let's start at the bottom of the card here, and we'll do the Women's Tag Team Championship match first. It's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending their championships against Damage Control, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson, and then the team of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Look, this one, I think you could really convince yourself. I said this. I was on the Fightful preview show with Stephanie Chase yesterday, and I said the same thing. And I'm in the same spot here 24 hours later. I think that you could convince yourself pretty easily that another team is going to win the championship here. But I think when you really keep thinking about it, you realize quick that that's not going to happen. Like this to me is exactly what it looks like. This is a multi-team match because they don't have like strong contenders that they feel comfortable going with in a team versus team scenario. I also think this is partly we want to get a lot of women on the show. We want to get more people on the show so that there's paydays that can go around. I mean, I think that there's like that real life element to this too. So I think that that's very much part of what's going on here in this match. But you can't beat Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They're too important of a team. So unless they're like gonna green light and kickstart Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill tomorrow, then there's no reason to take the titles off of them. I mean, there's plenty of people who can do the job here. Lash Legend is there, Jakara Jackson is there, even like Piper Niven or Chelsea Green can do that job just fine. Like it's just it's not the time for it. Like you really have to move forward and continue feeding the best team that you have in order to have some semblance of a women's division that people care about. I just think it's important, and Bianca and Jade, they're the biggest stars here, and so you go with them. Plus, they've already done the finish where like another team in a multi-team match loses, so Belair and Cargill lose the titles. Like they've already done that, so they can't even play that card this time around. So this to me, yeah, you can convince yourself, but I think when you break it down here, this screams title retention. So I think Bianca Belair and Jade win this. Sean in our chat here says, yeah, Bianca and Jade win. I unfortunately think Piper takes the fall. A disgrace what they've done to her. Yeah, man, I agree. Drop something there. I agree. Like, boy, Piper Niven, like she's just like a different wrestler. She looks different. She's got a different style, but man, she can talk. Like you put her in like a Bronson Reed type role in the women's division. I think that works. I think she can work with top women, just like Reed is now with Seth. But they don't see her that way. So I don't know. Like it'd be interesting for somebody. I can ask around about this, but like what the deal is with her. Like, is there something else going on, or like what's up? Because like obviously Vince saw nothing in her. And was just totally disgraceful in the Dewdrop character, but she's talented and like untapped potential. Sean says here, yeah, she's got the whole package. She was so good in the Mae Young Classic. Yeah, man, Mae Young Classic, great in that. Andrew H. still trying to shake off the Dewdrop vibes. Yeah, but you know what though? Like she is, but in order to shake it off, like you got to give her the chance to shake it off. Like you have to give her the chance to do it, which means booking her better, booking her stronger, and not treating her like the jobber she was as Dewdrop, right? You got to help change the perception of that. And I just don't think the book has done that for her. Okay, let's go to Kevin Owens against Randy Orton. Grudge match. Randy Orton asking Triple H if he was keeping Kevin Owens from him. Triple H comes out and says, nah, actually, I was keeping Kevin Owens from you. Like, he's dangerous. He's too dangerous for you. And Orton kind of begs and pleads for the match. He gives a pretty good reason, and then he gets it. So it's an ultimate grudge match here. As far as like the match itself goes, I think it could be a pretty good match. I think both these guys really know how to work well. Randy, it depends on how motivated he is. He may be just like, I'm in Saudi Arabia, give me the check and we'll just get on out of here. If he's motivated, I think he could have a really good match with Kevin Owens. The build for this has been, weird because you don't know, and not bad. I don't mean bad. I do not mean bad. I just mean a little weird because you don't know yet really where Kevin Owens is. He's leaning heel, but and he attacked Orton, but I don't get the sense that he's like this piping hot heel right now. I think they're still working to get there. So it's interesting that they're doing this match now. It feels almost like a little premature in that regard, but because they're in the middle of this and because they're so on that path right now to tell whatever story they're telling with Kevin Owens, he can't stomach a loss at this point. You got to go with him here. He's got to get the win. For any reason, if you're going to keep going with the feud with Orton, he's got to get the win. If you are going to go with Kevin Owens and Nia Jax, or not, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I'm seeing now at a live chat I'm about to read, so it totally like threw me off. If you're going to go with Kevin Owens against Cody Rhodes at some point, he's got to have a win here. So Kevin Owens is going to win this match, and it's important because he hasn't won like a big match in so long. But I fully expect him to win here and get that W, and then keep going, keep that heel turn rolling. All right, now let's talk LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. This has match of the night potential. I think as far as just like an in-ring match goes, I think this one could be one of the best. There's lots of talent in that ring, and talent that can how do I say this nicely? Talent that can hide some of the faults that LA Knight has from an in-ring perspective. So I think this could be really good. LA Knight retains. That's my pick and my prediction. I think they kind of misread the situation last week with him like interrupting the best of 7 finale between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I think in theory, like you could say to yourself, like, all right, he's we hate these two guys, and so he's so funny and he's so cool that he broke it up. I mean, I think that's how you write it, and you say and convince yourself that it's a good angle. But in practice, though, really you ask your audience to completely just dismiss their investment in the previous 6 matches. I mean, this is game 7, right? Like you gotta go with it. You gotta make good on that. If you're gonna predict or push best of 7, and this is game 7, like you can't undercut that. I think people were looking forward to like a true game 7 match, and LA Knight was the conduit to hurting that. Now, I don't think it hurt him. I think he's still really popular. And I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win this match. The show collectively is heel driven. I mean, it really is. When you look at like the big matches and who's going to win and how things are going to happen, from Kevin Owens to, Ajax or whoever, like there's a lot of heel stuff going on this show. And so this is your moment to kind of give the fans something to cheer about. Hey, now Andrew H says Zack hates charisma. First Joe Hendry, now LA Knight. I never said I hated LA Knight. Hey, I never said I hated Joe Hendry either. I just said long term, I don't think he's a guy that has the staying power. But LA Knight, I think he's a really big star, good wrestler. So no, I never said that. I like LA Knight. I think he's good. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other comments here. Yeah, Sean says game 7 and then that dumb finish. Yeah. So, I mean, this one I think is going to be a good match, but LA Knight wins and takes it home. All right. Let's see here. We got Bronson Reed against Seth Rollins. I think this is the best built match on the show, to be frank. Like, I think that I really think that this is they've got history. It's simple to follow. It's clean heel and clean babyface. Bronson the heel, Seth the babyface. They've beat each other up. It's time for them to have a match, and now they're having it. Like, it's not complicated. There's not a lot of depth to it. There's not a lot of layers to it. But you don't need that all the time. Wrestling can be simple when it's effective, and I think this really very much is. This is not my prediction here is going to be Bronson Reed. I think he's going to win this, but it's not. And yes, that will be like an inherent elevation of Bronson Reed. I think this is not their first and only match. This is their first match, but it's not their only match together. I think that you are going to see here them go to another, either a rematch or maybe like even like a trilogy of matches where Rollins gets the win back. So I think Rollins eventually comes out ahead in this feud, but not this weekend. I think this weekend you got to like go with the monster Bronson Reed and get him that W that backs up his whole character, right? That's important. I think if you went into this feud with Rollins and Reed and it was just like, let's book something, I think that you change your mind here because Reed has proven to be valuable, like as far as like being a star goes. And so I think that's something you got to pivot on. He over delivered in this role, and so now deliver back for him and give him the win he needs to kind of keep the momentum going. So I'll take Bronson Reed here. Sean agrees. I do think Bronson needs a big win. Yeah, he does. He does. Candy asks a question. Hey, Candy, thanks so much for joining. Says, who do you think will main event Crown Jewel 2024? Yeah, Gunther versus Cody, for sure. I think that's the match. I mean, not only do I think the match is going to have like an angle in the finish, which we'll get to here in a second, but there's just no other match that has it. It's not like Rock's going to come back, so I don't think you need to put the 6-man tag on last. This is where you need to do it, and Gunther gets a big boost if he wins. Cody, if he wins, just gets to stand tall at the end of a big show. Both, I think, are important. Candy also asks, do you think Sammy will show up at Crown Jewel during the 6-man tag team match? Yeah, it could be, and let's get to that. So it's Roman Reigns, it's Jey Uso, and it's Jimmy Uso against the new bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga or Tonga Loa. I don't think we see Sammy show up yet. It's not time. It's not time. There has to be another moment of the old bloodline faction being down and like needing him to come back to like make the group whole. So you have to throw some adversity at him. And I think this match is going to serve as that. This match will serve as that. So no, but yes, whatever happens here during the 6-man tag is going to kickstart Sammy eventually coming back into the fold. Makes sense? And I think to predict this, that's why you have to have the new bloodline win. You have to give, if the old bloodline wins here, like you just what? There's no need to keep going. It's like storyline over. And you don't want that. You have more chapters. You've got The Rock, hovering. You've got War Games hovering. Like you got all sorts of things. And I think like the new bloodline not being all that scary, not being all that dangerous, not being all that credible, I think that has hurt the story overall. And they have a chance to make that up here. So I'm putting the babyfaces over. I'm putting the heels over. I think the heels win, and they win definitively. And so, that's important that they get the win. They need to get this win. No question about it. Let's see here. I want to make sure that I got everything. Let's see here. Anthony asked another question. Zach, in your honest opinion, who are the most likely babyface and heel turns at Crown Jewel? Well, I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody's turning heel. Unless like Kevin Owens goes further down like the heel, path. I don't think anybody. I think everybody's pretty much locked in where they should be and where they will be for the foreseeable future. Jordan is in our chat. What's up, Jordan? Good to hear some fresh faces here today. Jordan says, "What's the worst Crown Jewel ever in WWE history?" Oh boy, probably the one where Triple H and Shawn Michaels teamed up, against the Brothers of Destruction. That match was so terrible. And if you've missed it, like I highly recommend going back and watching it because it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I don't think I can think of a worse one. That was really, really bad. And that was the big match, and it totally stunk the joint up. So yeah, that's my pick, Jordan. Thanks for making me relive that, man. Jeez. Anthony says here, Zach, logically, with the way they're setting this up, that this is an inter-family feud, does make sense for Sammy to join the old bloodline again. Well, he was an honorary family member. Remember honorary Uso? So I think it does. I mean, he's going to play that role. I think it makes sense for that reason, Anthony. Okay, here we go. What else here? Okay, we've got the match everybody's been waiting for. Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship. The Crown Jewel title is on the line. Boy, oh boy, they don't care about this match. WWE does not care about this match. They dropped build for this. When you think about 4 weeks ago, they were trying to do some intermingling, some cross pollination with Liv and Nia and Rhea and Tiffany to try to make all that work, and then they just dropped it. Like it seems totally to me that they're like, we can't do this. We wish we didn't have to book it, but here you go. Here's 2 heels that you don't like. That really makes this difficult. So I think this is going to be the worst match on the card. It's the worst built match on the card because the crowd doesn't want either one of them to win. It's just such a silly premise for a match. There's nobody to root for, as Sean says here in the chat. Nobody to root for, and I have no interest. Who cares who wins? Exactly. This has been really bad. Jordan says, I really don't care for a Nia match. Tiffany will cash in on Nia. That's the only thing I care about. That's an interesting prediction. I don't think they've done. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've done a cash in Saudi Arabia before, so that could be a way to throw them a bone. Drew, for the first Crown Jewel champion on the resume, I think it's important, sir. I don't know if they're even going to mention it much after Monday night. I think that they may just run from it. Like, we'll see. I'm taking Liv here. She's got the feud with Rhea. That's bigger. She's got to take advantage of opportunities for her to be credible when she can, because she doesn't always get them. She's a small heel champion. She's got the heater and Raquel. Like, I think this is a time to put her over and go with that and just continue her momentum. Like, I think she's the more important star at this point. You're going to get a Tiffany cash in at some point on Nia Jax. I mean, that's where they're headed. So that thing kind of takes care of itself. Liv benefits more, and I think she's going to be better talking about it than Nia Jax would be. So I'll take Liv. And make sure we covered everything here. Boom, got that. Okay, last but not least, the main event: Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, the men's Crown Jewel Championship. This one I'm taking Gunther. Again, I think as a heel, this Crown Jewel Championship is going to be easier to pull off. Because when you see that obnoxious championship, like, I don't know. If I was Cody, I'd be like, please, can we find a way to not book me to win this, because that belt's so obnoxious. But needless to say, it also is easier for Cody to lose this match because he's got some outs, right? He's got Kevin Owens hovering around him. He's got Randy Orton, who could potentially, turn on him. You can protect him with a finish here. And Gunther, look, you want to try to make the titles like equal-ish, right? And in order to do that, you got to put some oomph behind Gunther. He really needs the win, as Candy says here. He says Gunther should win. He needs this win over Cody. Yeah, like the Gunther character is like very much synonymous with winning. If he's not winning, he's not the same guy. You can't have a Gunther character as it is today not win matches and not win championships. I just don't think it works. So yeah, he's got to win, and Cody can be protected. And Sean says here, Gunther just cannot win clean. Man, I never thought I would say that. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this is why, if you're WWE, you want to do more clean finishes, so that when you really need to do a finish that isn't clean, you can, and people won't be rolling their eyes. You know what I mean? So he's going to be clean. Or he's not going to be a clean finish. I think that this is the match of the night. I think these guys are going to have a really good match together. I mean, they're both similar in style, but Gunther is such a strong worker in terms of being like a chameleon for his opponent that I think he can adjust well and have a good match. So I'm fully predicting a very good match of the night, and one that Gunther wins. There you have it, guys. That's Crown Jewel 2024. That's our preview. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. I will have coverage of the event at Brass Ring Media all afternoon long. So definitely follow us over there. Follow me on social media at Zack_Heydorn. That's on Twitter X. But follow our YouTube channel, Brass Ring Media, for post-event analysis. We do a review show for all of our Brass Ring Media members. So you can check that out as well. Once again, it's Brass Ring Media over at Patreon, patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. So check that out, and you can check out our review show for Crown Jewel. It's $4 a month to be a member, which, not a ton. But I think you get a ton of value back, because you get all of our PLE and pay-per-view review shows. You get a free member-only podcast once a week that we'll be recording today. You get all of our specialty shows that we do for members, and you get access to the Discord community. So highly encourage you guys, please give us a shot at Brass Ring Media. Your first week's free, so you can get all of those shows this weekend totally free if you sign up and test us out. Patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. We also have a Substack newsletter where we have all of our written work that we update every day, and you can check that out too. That's totally free for you to do that, and of course the YouTube channel is free too. Subscribe there. If you're watching on YouTube right now, can you hit like for me? Thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Sean is coming in with a last-second super chat. Thank you, Sean. Putting a smile on my face. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Says Brass Ring Media, baby. Exclamation point. Zach and Tyler. Yeah, Tyler's my partner. I think we do a nice job covering wrestling the way it should be covered. I think it lays in with this show very well and what One True Sport builds. So if you're a fan of this, give us a shot. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Enjoy Crown Jewel. We will obviously talk about all the happenings of that show on Monday. Thank you for a great week. Have a wonderful Friday. Happy Friday. We'll talk to you guys really, really soon. See you.